Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. So, me and the children, we had a little bit of fun this weekend, and it was great. It was awesome. I love spending time with my children, and also I had some me time. I went out to dinner and a movie, so that was pretty nice. But today is Monday, so happy Monday. And now I'm like, you know what? It's time to get back to business. So, I was reading out of the book of Genesis last night, Genesis chapter 17. And let me tell you something. I read this one because when God tell you something, believe it. Okay? When God say, okay, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that, even though you can't see it, let me tell you, that's why, God say, walk by faith and not by sight. Don't look at the situation at hand, because some people sometimes look at a situation that's going on in their life and be like, how in the world am I going to get out of this? But listen, when God tell you something, or you say, how is this possible? How is this going to happen to me? Listen, believe God, believe his word, believe every word that God says, because he's not like man. He does not lie. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about this story, and then I want you to apply it to your situation. It's regarding Abraham and Sarah. It's just the story of Abraham and Sarah, and I'm probably going to be on this for a couple of days. And I had kind of skipped to the part I really want you guys to know about. I want you to know it all. Eventually, I will get there, but I wanted you to know this part exactly. So, at first, when I started reading the story, his name was Abram, but God had changed his name to Abraham. And then, God had made a covenant with Abraham, meaning he made an agreement with Abraham, okay? And then God told Abraham, I will make you fathers of many nations. Because, if you know the story of Abraham, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you, Abraham and his wife could not have children. So, Sarah was like, okay, why don't you, have a son, have a baby with the concubine, which means like the concubine in that time was like, she was lower than a wife. She was like the help, like a mistress. So he did have a son with the concubine, and he named him Ishmael. But God had made an agreement with Abraham and told him that he was going to make him father of many nations, and he changed his name to Abraham. But what come with the agreement? Something about the agreement. God say now, with this agreement, your offsprings, the members of your family, the men who live in your house, they all have to have to get circumcised. Okay, you guys know what circumcised is. The foreskin of a man. They cut it off because it's clean to do that. Okay, so God also changed Abraham's wife name. Her name was Sarah, but he changed it to Sarah. Okay, and God also told Abraham, your wife will give you a son, and she will be the mother. She will become the mother of many nations. Abraham started to laugh because Abraham is saying, I'm an old man. I'm nearly 100 years old. My wife is in her 90s, and you're telling us that we're getting ready to have a baby. Now, let me tell you. So most people would think this is crazy. I mean, because especially in this time of day, you know, if you're 40 years old or even 35, I'm going to push it back. Even if you're 35 years old, they're saying, you know what, you're old, you're too old to have a baby. That's high risk. But if God did it for Sarah and Abraham, what make you think that he won't do it for you? And most people will be like, oh my God, having a baby at 90, that's crazy. But let me tell you, when God tell you something, trust it. But most people would laugh. Most people would say, oh my God, she's 90 years old and she's having a baby. But you never know the plans of God. You never know the reason behind what God is doing. Just trust what he's doing. If a woman want to have a baby at 90, let her have it. Because if Sarah did it, she can do it as well. I remember when Holly Berry got pregnant at 50, people were like, oh my God, that's crazy. But she can do that because she has money and she has all the maids. Like, she don't want to deal with her baby. If she's having one at 50, then obviously she wants one. But let me tell you, trust the hand of God. And if God can do it for Sarah, he can do it for you as well. Whether it's you can't have children or whatever it is in your life. Let me tell you, trust God. He can do it. Okay? So I'm going to move on. So Abraham was telling God, I want Ishmael to be a part of the inheritance as well. And God was saying, of course, I'm just ad libbing. Ishmael is going to have everything. He's going to be a part of the promise. Okay. So moving down, it says Abraham had noticed three men standing nearby. Abraham had his servants to prepare food for the three men. It says, as they was talking, one of them told Abraham, Sarah, by this time next year, Sarah will have a son for you, and you will name him Isaac. And so Sarah, even Sarah herself, started laughing. And and the man looking like, okay, why is she laughing? And then Sarah didn't tell the truth. She was like, oh, I wasn't laughing. And God said, well, you were laughing. And then God was telling them, is there anything too hard for God? Let me tell you something. There's nothing that's too hard for God. I'm telling you, don't laugh at the things. Don't even laugh at your situation, because God will bring you out of it. It won't stay for long. The situation won't stay for long. You can get yourself in a situation and you're like, man, how in the world am I going to get out of this? And when you finally get out of the situation, you're like, it's like a relief. But let me tell you, it's all God. I thank God for everything. I thank God for every situation I've ever had. I'm not sad about it. At first, I couldn't understand the things that was going on in my life at the time. Why am I going through this? Even as a child, even as an adult, in my marriage or with my children, when my children would cut up, I'm like, oh my God, I try to be the best mother I can be. I try to teach them right, and they still cutting up or doing this in school or doing that. Let me tell you something. God got you. But when he tell you something, don't laugh at it. Don't think that is God's voice. Because, sometimes God got to knock us off of our feet. Sometimes he got to do that. Not that he want to do it, but sometimes you got to be at a low point to try to reach out to God, to say, God, help me. I need help with this situation. Or, you know what, God, why can't I get pregnant? Because there are so many women that suffer with that. But you have to trust and you have to believe. God say that be fruitful and multiply. That's saying right there. Don't believe what the doctors say. That's saying right there, you know what? I can be fruitful and I can multiply. So, especially those who out there, the women who say, the doctor's saying that you can't have a baby. Let me tell you something. I knew a woman that had so many miscarriages, and let me tell you, when God blessed her, he blessed her. She kept trying. Why? Because she had the faith. She ended up having 2 children. I'm not sure if she have any more now, but I know she ended up having 2 children. And let me tell you something. When men say no, God say yes. But when God tell you that you can be fruitful and multiply, believe it. Okay, so apply that to every situation. When man says no, God will say yes. But the thing is, sometimes God won't say yes right away because you're not ready for that situation. Like some people always say, oh my God, if only I was a millionaire. But you can't do right by the little that God has blessed you with. So how are you going to handle this millions, Or even with the child situation, you could barely take care of yourself. You're struggling. Or maybe you're not married, how are you going to take care of a child? You can't take care of yourself. So you have to be ready. Or some married couples feel like, oh my God, if I have a baby, it'll fix the situation. No, it won't fix the situation. Trust me. I know. Been there, done that. So let me tell you, you have to be ready. You have to be prepared to receive what you're asking God for. Just be ready for it. Just say, God, I'm asking you for a house, or I'm asking you for a car, or I'm asking you for a husband, or I'm asking you for money, a financial blessing, whatever you're asking God for. Ask God to prepare you to receive that blessing, because you want to do right by it. Like in my other blog, I said, you have to focus. You have to be focused. Just like I'm using me going to school in January. I'm going to school in January, but if I'm not focused, if I'm not ready, it defeats the purpose of me going. So be focused and ask God to prepare you to receive your blessing so you can do right by it. But let me tell you, once you get that blessing, you thank God for it, because he's the only one that can give you those blessings. It's all God. I don't take credit for nothing. I don't take credit for my children's grades. I don't take credit for, me getting, it wasn't me that got me into school, because trust me, it was hard. It was hard getting in there. They denied my financial aid, and every time I had to go through so much. But let me tell you, I give God the credit for everything. It is not me. It's not it's just not me. It's God's word. I try to instill it in my children. let me tell you, I give God all the credit. I give him all the honor. I give him all the glory. And let me tell you, if you don't believe in him by now, trust me, start believing. I'm a walking and I'm a living testimony. Just believe. Trust me, he is real. Even though the situation may seem bad right now, you're going through things. But let me tell you, sometimes God have to allow you to go through things. And it teaches you. And you grow by it. But let me tell you, God is real. But the blessing that you're asking him for, ask God to prepare you to receive it. Okay? That's all I have for you guys today. I love you and have a blessed day.